Trigger warning. Ghosts, ghouls, and gruesome stuff ahead. It's weird, it's dark, it's your kind of vibe.
Welcome to Haunted and Homicidal, the podcast where true crime meets the paranormal. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Courtney. Every week we uncover the terrifying, the twisted, and the totally unexplainable. Lock your doors and grab your sage.
Because things are about to get haunted and homicidal. Hey guys.
What's up?
Courtney's not even paying attention over here.
I didn't know what you were doing.
Didn't even have her headphones on. She's just looking around like a goofball.
I didn't know what we were doing.
Oh, anyway, welcome back. This is our paranormal for the week. Okay, so mine's kind of like a two-parter. I've got paranormal and murder all in one because the paranormal leads into a murder.
Okay.
So, it's kind of like a two for this week.
I mean, mine's kind of the same way.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them are.
Yeah.
But I normally cover just like cryptids. And he is a cryptid, but like he is the centerpiece for like a major national news story that happened back in like 2014, I think. And it actually wasn't a murder. She survived, thankfully, but it kind of ties into each other. So I figured I couldn't talk about the cryptid without bringing up this because they are so well known together.
Yeah.
I mean, same for yours, but it's like the same. Yours is more like the same place thing. So yeah. So I guess we will go ahead and get started and get through it as quick as we can because I'm hungry and I want chicken and broccoli rice casserole.
Oh, that's what you mean?
Yeah. Because if we don't eat that, I want Mexican, and that costs money, and I already have the chicken and rice, and it's free. But I want queso no matter what.
Anyway, I don't know. Okay, let's go. All right, I have the Lizzie Borden House.
Woohoo! Lizzie Borden took an axe.
It is located in Fall River, Massachusetts.
Yes, it is.
And it's one of the most terrifying and haunted locations in America.
Yep.
The gruesome murders that occurred here on August 4th, 1892 have captivated both otherworldly and true crime enthusiasts ever since.
True crime. Was that like 2 Chainz?
The trial that followed will go down in history as one of the most convoluted and well-known of the late 19th century. Yep. And today, the home has been renovated to allow for maximum comfort and maximum paranormal investigations.
Maximum overdrive.
Tours and overnight stays are available to those brave enough to discover the truth behind the gruesome murder.
I'm brave enough. Let's go.
All right. So, Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. So this is the famous poem that tells the murders.
Yes. And
so,
the kids would come to her house and sing it at her.
Uh-huh.
Kids are fucking awful, man.
They are.
Kids are awful.
32-year-old Lizzie murdered her 64-year-old stepmother and 69-year-old father with a hatchet on the morning of August 4th, 1892. Their spirits, along with Lizzie's and 2 children who were previously murdered next door by another Borden in 1848, are said to haunt the house. So Andrew Borden bought the home on 2nd Street in 1872. He was a self-made, well-to-do man within the Fall River community. They came from a long line of wealth, but Andrew's father was seemingly the only one in 8 generations to squander it all away. It created unmatched determination in young Andrew, and he went into the carpentry business.
Okay, that's her dad, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So he eventually started a casket company with his first wife. So Lizzie and her sister Emma's mother. So his first wife.
Right.
So he went to business with her brother, John Vinicum Morse.
Okay.
So from here, he expanded to own multiple properties in Fall River, including 3 major cloth mills. He eventually became president of a major bank in the town. But he was a stingy man who always wore all black despite the weather.
Hey, that's a man after my own heart. Clearance items and all black. Fuck yeah.
And many believe his attitude on life dictated his eventual downfall at the hands of his daughter.
Okay, well.
His second wife, Abby, entered the picture in 1865, 2 years after Sarah's death, so after Lizzie and Emma's mom.
Right.
Lizzie grew to resent both of them for varying reasons.
Yeah.
So Lizzie was 32 and her sister Emma was 41 at the time of the murders.
Still living at home.
Both were spinsters, unmarried women living alone or with family.
They lived at home.
Yes. Lizzie was never known as an attractive woman, with the word homely being used to describe her quite often.
Very much.
Because of her social standards of the time and her oppressive father's policy on his wealth and family life, she was an unhappy woman.
Yeah.
Suitors within her social class did not see her as acceptable, and any suitor below her social class was disapproved of by her father and chased away. He saw them as, quote-unquote, treasure hunters after his massive wealth.
Yep. So, like, gold diggers, basically.
Yes. And apparently her father withheld the wealth from Lizzie.
Yeah, he did.
It left her sad, alone, frustrated, and most of all, jealous of her stepmother Abby's position to inherit said wealth.
Yep.
But despite this, Lizzie was known as an upstanding, good Christian woman, an active member of her local congregation and social debutante.
Trying to be super fancy.
And despite his wealth, he never allowed his family the things in life he could afford. A matter that made Lizzie jealous because she wanted to move to the more upstanding neighborhood that was called The Hill.
Yeah.
All right. The murder and the trial.
The murder.
The murder.
Murders, plural.
Murders. So it began when neighbors heard screaming coming from the home.
Yeah.
And upon entering the home, they were met with the gruesome sight of Andrew Borden's body sitting there on the couch.
On the couch, yep. I've seen these pictures. They're horrific.
They're full. His face had been mutilated by the sharp edge of an axe. Report would later reveal he had suffered from 10 blows in total.
Yep. Not 41.
Not 41. Lizzie told the police and nearby neighbors that she had entered the home from the barn to discover her father's body after sending their servant, Maggie Sullivan, for help. Neighbors began asking where Abby was. Lizzie told them that she had gone out to visit a sick friend and that she had heard her earlier upstairs. Police and the crowd discovered her mutilated body in the guest room. She had 19 strikes counted on her body.
I think she was like bent over the bed or something like that. I want to say like she was making the bed or something, and when she was killed, she was like bent over.
I'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
So a local Portuguese man, an immigrant, was arrested soon after.
Always going after the fucking immigrant instead of doing your due diligence as a goddamn police officer and collecting fucking evidence. They always go after the immigrant because they're criminals.
Because nativism was rampant among the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant community.
Yeah, always a white person too.
Catholics, a group rapidly increasing in numbers in the town, were seen as the enemy and as such immediately targeted.
Yep, like I just fucking said.
So their servant Maggie was an Irish woman. She was seen as a suspect before Lizzie. 5 days after the murder, Lizzie took the stand.
Yeah, I have my own theories about who killed Mommy and Daddy, and I don't think it was Lizzie.
So her story began changing, telling it with a disturbing calmness. While she was giving her testimony, not a tear was shed.
Oh.
They discovered that she had bought prussic acid, which is also known as hydrogen cyanide, which is a highly toxic, volatile liquid known for its rapid action as a poison that prevents cells from utilizing oxygen. She bought that the day before the murders. And same day, everyone in the household fell ill except for Lizzie.
See, like, back in the day, that was, like, the way to do it. Poison. Especially for females. I didn't know what you were looking at. I was like, what is happening?
Nothing in the boyfriend.
Well, I didn't know they went outside. I just saw you look at the window, like, really weirdly. I was like, is it Lily?
I was trying to see him, but he walked too quick.
He looks the same as the picture, because I watched him come in the door.
He does not look 22.
He does.
No, he does not.
Yeah, he does.
Not in that picture.
I mean, there's probably a filter on that picture.
Probably.
Once we're done with this, we're going in there, so we'll see.
Okay, so even though her suspicious activities screamed guilty, many in the town didn't believe it. Because she was an upstanding Christian woman and a wealthy one at that.
Yeah.
Feelings of native pride pushed many to defend her innocence, including her family doctor, who claimed he prescribed her morphine after the incident, hence the calm testimony. In the end, she was found probably guilty.
She's probably guilty.
Due to Maggie's inability to account for her whereabouts during the time of the murder, because no one apparently could find where Lizzie was. The aftermath. So Lizzie was held in a cell for 9 months while outside rallied for her protection. So suffragists and women's groups like the Women's Christian Temperance Union called for her innocence. And she was eventually brought before a grand jury and her innocence was reclaimed. She and Emma moved to the upstanding neighborhood that Lizzie had always believed they belonged to.
Yeah.
They lived a lavish lifestyle, became oddities to locals and visitors to the town until Emma left Lizzie in 1905.
Yep.
No one knows what happened.
No.
Lizzie passed in 1927 and Emma followed 9 days later. They're buried next to their father in the Oak Grove Cemetery.
Yep.
So, the hauntings.
The haunting.
So, it's haunted by the Borden family, of course.
Of course. I mean, how could it not be?
I know. So, Andrew Borden appears particularly...
You had it. You had it earlier.
That was before the Y.
Try again.
Oh my God.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
Particularly restless.
No. You can say particular, right?
Particular.
Particularly.
Not
Not altogether.
Particularly.
Particularly.
I don't know why I struggle with words so much. Particularly restless.
Yay! Okay.
I don't know why I struggle with that word so much. Restless, with tour guides claiming he has punched him in the back.
Oh, God.
If you sleep in his room, it is said that a monetary gift is to be left out in tribute to him.
Okay.
Keeps his money-hungry spirit at bay and ensures the weary traveler a good night's sleep. And, of course, they see Lizzie haunting the ground. And then reports of children laughing, supposedly the two who were murdered next door in 1848. The fire alarm goes off once every couple of months, always at 3 a.m.
3 a.m. is like the haunting time, so yeah.
Exactly. Apparitions are often caught on camera and ghostly faces appear in the basement. Now, my favorite show, Ghost Adventures. Of course, they had to say what happened beforehand. Okay.
They had to what?
They had to explain, like, they had to give
the
information, the history. Okay. So,
well, like if Zach didn't already know about Lizzie Borden.
For people who didn't know for the show, okay, calm down. Bitch, don't look at me like that.
Who doesn't know about Lizzie Borden? I knew this when I was in like
my
elementary
friend didn't know
school.
about fucking Ed Gein.
That's different. This is Lizzie Borden. That's completely different.
Okay, you never know because he's got people all around the world watching. You don't know. Calm the fuck down.
Whatever.
Bitch.
If you don't know about Lizzie Borden, I question your upbringing.
Okay. Leave me and my Ghost Adventures alone. Let me have my Ghost Adventures.
Leave Zach alone. Okay,
Let
sorry.
me have my Ghost Adventures.
Okay, you can have it. I'm not telling you not to have it.
You have your...
I was just like, why are they giving Zach, of all people, the history?
Well, it's like all of them.
You're not picking up what I'm putting
I
down.
know. Well, I'm ignoring.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay, so...
Let's go!
Okay, so Abby was upstairs tidying the room. She was facing the murderer when they came in.
Yeah.
First blow was to the side of her face, then the murderer continued, striking her 17 more times in the head.
Yeah, that's what I thought. She was like making the bed or something.
Yeah, she was making the bed. So she wasn't on the bed. She was like on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was killed between 9 and 11 a.m. Andrew returned home.
Pretty big window.
Because Andrew returned home at 11 a.m. So they knew that he wasn't home when she was killed.
Yeah.
So.
And so he was killed sometime after 11.
Yeah. So he lay down on the first floor on the couch to take a nap. 10 to 11 blows to his face. His eyeball was laying on his cheek.
Yeah.
And he was unrecognizable to anyone who knew him.
We will post these photos also with a trigger warning because they are very... They're graphic.
He's brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So the police were notified after 11 a.m. So their uncle, John Morse, his first wife's brother, was looked at, dismissed very quickly. Bridget Sullivan, the maid, was looked at, but her alibi was solid. And then unknown stranger theory was looked at, but never pursued. The only one pursued was Lizzie.
Yeah.
Within days, the news of the murder had spread all over the world. All right, so now when they're interviewing people.
Okay. Like
so,
people that work at the house?
They
or
did,
just like historians?
They interviewed 2 people who worked there. And then, like, other paranormal investigators who've done stuff there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, 2 other paranormal investigators witnessed a woman being scratched by an unseen force while they were investigating.
Yucky.
So one of the guys, Tim, said, "Why don't you pick on somebody your own size?"
Okay.
So he was standing by how you have this thing.
Yeah.
So he was standing by something like that.
Yeah.
And all they see is him go flying backwards
Jesus.
into the door, and you can see the handprints on his elbow from being pushed.
Don't ask for what you can't handle. Okay. That's on you, my guy.
And then one of the workers doesn't like the basement at all. She does not.
I can agree with that. I don't like basements, even if I didn't know,
yeah.
Like if it was a brand new basement, no.
Yeah, so she
There's demons down
does not
here.
like the basement. So she went down to get supplies. As she was climbing the stairs, she heard footsteps right behind her.
No.
She turned around.
No.
She turned around, saw nobody was there, and she went right back up the stairs.
Yeah, I would probably throw up.
She said, "Fuck that."
I would throw up and then run. No, thank you. No fucking thing. No. 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 No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And then the same paranormal group that earlier, they were on the 3rd floor. They had an IRA camera facing the bed. Nothing was going on at first. And they had a psychic medium in their little group. So she came in with a few others. They walked into the room. The camera was on the floor.
Yeah.
The camera literally picked up and turned to focus on them.
No.
They put it back to face the bed. It picked back up and focused on them.
No. Yeah. And what room is that? 3rd floor, you said? Was that where Abby was killed?
I think it was her room. And they didn't say which room. They just said a room on the 3rd floor.
Oh, okay. Because she was like, "Don't look at where I died. Focus on yourself. Thank you." Or she was like, she never got finished tidying up the room, so maybe she didn't want them to look at the dirty room.
Yeah. So the owner of the house, who owns Lizzie Borden's house.
Yeah.
The daughter, he's got 2 daughters.
The owner.
The owner.
Okay.
So one of them had experience on a tour.
Okay.
There's a necklace sitting on the vanity. She was looking at the little pendant that was on it.
Mm-hmm.
Felt someone tugging at her ear like you would tug a child to get away from something. It was Abby's vanity, and there's a picture of Abby.
Abby said, "Don't touch my fucking shit,
She
kid."
did. She said, "Whoop."
Yeah, and I know Abby was not great.
Yeah.
To Lizzie and her sister. So, yeah.
Yeah, so she said, "Yeet."
Yeah, she was not a nice woman.
And then her sister, the owner's other daughter, refuses to come in the house. She said no. Because in one of the rooms, so they stay on the top. When they stay there, because sometimes they spend the night there.
Yeah.
So in one of the rooms that they were going to stay in, her dad walked by with the bags.
Yeah.
She was standing a few feet away from the bed, and next thing you know, she went cold and fell. Passed out.
No.
So she refuses to go in that house.
I don't blame her. That's scary.
And then people, of course, will leave toys for the children's spirits.
No.
Wait. I'm about to talk to you. So.
I was like, what children?
So they had. So the Ghost Avengers has their researcher who research stuff.
Yeah.
So he found the 2 children. So.
There's 2 of them.
So 5 decades for Andrew and Abby.
Before.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
It was another double murder.
Oh, my God.
So in 1848, Andrew's uncle lived in the house right next door.
Okay.
His wife, Eliza, went nuts, drowned the 3 children in a well.
No.
One of them lived. And then Eliza took her own life. The straight razor slit her throat.
Oh, my God.
So they're
those 2 babies.
Yeah, so those are the 2 spirits that haunt the house.
Oh, that is so fucking sad.
So now they're wondering if there's a dark spirit or curse that's affiliated with the family.
I mean, 2 double murders within 5 decades. I mean, it might be on the family itself, maybe not the house, since nothing has happened since.
Yeah, that's what they said. If it's on the family.
It might be.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So they're so maybe so they're thinking it was Eliza and Lizzie possessed, because Eliza, Lizzie. So they're were they possessed and went and
So maybe something possessed Eliza, and then when Eliza died, she became the malevolent and then possessed Lizzie. Okay. I mean, I would not rule that out. That sounds kind of legitimate, yeah.
Yeah, so they were thinking something along that lines.
Oh, well, that kind of makes sense, especially since she was calm about the situation, even though, like, I gave her morphine. But, like, even in her later life, she never did anything. She never mourned about it. She never broke down. She took the money.
And who knows what happened with her and Emma, that Emma left.
She took the money, bought the house that she desired and the location she wanted, and lived out the rest of her life. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe it was something malevolent, but maybe it was just mental health running rampant in those times, and it was unchecked.
Because other investigators believe that it could also be them, because the Bordens were dysfunction.
Right. And
so when the murders happened, it was like a feast for the spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like a sacrifice, like AHS, murder house. Well, every person that was murdered, it fed the house.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, that's very possible.
All right, so now the investigation. So they start off with the REM pod to ask questions to see if they're dealing with spirit. So it has all the lights. So so when they ask a question, they say either do one for yes, two for no.
Two for no, yeah.
And then the lights go off into beeps, whatever.
Or, like, if you can come near it, the lights beep, with the magnetic energy. Yeah, just, like, touch it or wave your hand over it or something, yeah.
So, do you want to do harm to us?
Yes.
Yes. Did you kill Andrew and Abby Borden?
Yes.
Yes. Are you male or a female spirit?
Yes.
And then it did a very long beep and, like, went crazy. And then, are you evil?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Do you want to talk to us? And starts doing that long beeping again. And then they hear shuffling. And then when they start going to the room, they hear a hissing sound that's captured on the recorder. And so they asked,
was
did
that
you...
a cat?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was like a long hiss. And then...
He's like, I'm a demon.
And then, did you just make a hissing sound? And then Aaron hears footsteps walking up the stairs.
I don't like the up the stairs stuff. It freaks me out.
And then noises are coming from Abby's room.
Oh, God.
And so while Nick's holding the recorder, they capture, I'll take you to heaven.
No, you won't. Thank you. I am not ready. Goodbye.
So Zach goes upstairs, has Nick and Aaron stay in Abby's room.
Of course he does.
He hears laughing.
No.
The drawer in the nightstand opens by itself. So they rewind the footage to, like, double check to see if it was, like, open, like, when he got in there.
Yeah.
It was not.
Okay.
So when you first see him go up to the room, like, you can see on the camera, it's closed.
Right.
And then when everyone starts, like, so when Nick and Aaron, so Nick's, like, downstairs saying, like, go do harm to Zach, like, go bug Zach, like.
Yeah, go, like, fuck with Zach.
Yeah, like, do you want, like, Nick's downstairs, like, below them talking.
Yeah.
So while they're all doing that, they hear noises, and then they realize it's the drawer opening.
So was there something, like, in there?
There's, like, a book and, like, something else in there. So when they opened the, like, what was it? When the drawer opened, you could hear whatever was in the drawer, like, moving around.
Well, no, I was saying, like, was there just, like, something important in there that, like, they wanted him to see, or they just opened it?
It just opened it.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
Boring.
And then while they were talking about the drawer, the camera starts malfunctioning. Like, the screen gets, like, all distorted and fuzzy and starts shaking.
Yeah.
So then they have Eleanor, the worker who doesn't like going to the basement.
Yeah, me neither.
And then Liz, the psychic medium from the other group, joined them for a seance in the house. Or at least, like, a little... So they join. So while they're all downstairs, they had a recorder in the attic, and it captured... Keep on killing. Keep on coming.
What the fuck? Satan, is that you?
So at this time, they're all in the living room in the little circle at the table.
Mm-hmm.
So Liz starts to not feel good and says, he's here.
Ew.
Yeah. And then Nick starts...
Oh, hold on. Wait a second. I just had a fucking chill go up my back. Let me recover. Oh, God. Look.
You got goosebumps.
Oh, God. That, like, I mean, it felt like something just raked its finger up my fucking spine. Like, my shoulders are, like, cold. Yeah, see? what the fuck have you brought into my house?
I didn't do nothing.
Yeah, I don't like that. Did you feel it too?
I did.
Yes. Ugh.
Okay. So then Nick started to not feel good, and he says he saw someone standing in the door behind Zach and Aaron.
Okay.
And then they capture. They're all together.
Oh no.
And then
I'd have been like, no, we're not, and like just get up and run different directions.
So then they ask, are there any spirits in this room at all? And then they capture, thank you, Zach. They don't know what he's thanking them for.
For bringing the sacrifices.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And then so they ask, what's the name of the family that has had a lot of murders at the property? They capture Borden.
Yes.
And there's a flashlight on the ground behind Nick. And then that suddenly turns on. And then so they have like a little hatchet blade on the table with the recorder sitting on it.
No.
And they don't know they capture this part. Tell them about the girl. But like the way, so when you hear it on the show, it literally goes, tell them about the girl. Like it's aggressive.
Tell him about the girl.
Like it got aggressive. And they didn't know they captured that.
So they didn't hear that at all.
They didn't hear that. That's on the recorder. So they didn't know they captured that voice.
Tell them about the girl.
Yeah, like it got aggressive. And then so they ask, can you tell me what your name is? They capture Abby. Can you see us? Abby.
What?
And so they're like, can you tell me
who are you? Abby. Can you see us? Abby.
Yeah. And so then they ask, Andrew, are you here? Maybe.
What? He's like, maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
Yeah. So then when Liz says he's here, she's talking about Andrew because she apparently connects with Andrew and feels Andrew.
Okay.
So then they ask, who attacks people here? Lizzie.
Yeah, I mean.
So then Eleanor asks Liz if she can see an angry spirit. And she says she feels angry and says she doesn't think Mr. Borden's happy with them. And apparently Liz knows Mr. Borden's secret. And he doesn't want her talking about it.
He has a secret?
He has a secret.
Do we know the secret?
She says what the secret is.
Okay, good. So we know the secret. Cool. My titty itches. Hold on. That's my secret. Okay.
So then while Liz is talking and explaining, because they don't say like the whole thing because of how graphic and stuff it is.
Oh. Ooh.
So,
oh no, I think I've heard this.
So while she's talking, Nick starts to feel nauseous and feel like he's about to puke. And then so they let her say one sentence like they.
Yeah.
Mr. Borden, did you have sexual relationship with Lizzie?
Yeah, I knew this.
And they capture dirty whore.
Yeah. He yeah. I forgot about that part, but he was molesting the children, yeah.
And then, so Liz is like, did you not want anyone to marry your daughter because you wanted to keep her all to yourself, you dirty man? She senses him swearing at her, and they capture, go ahead and cry.
Gross.
Yeah. So then,
like, here's the thing. Lizzie's justified, okay? If I feel like the Menendez brothers were justified in their murders because their father and mother participated in sexually abusing them as children, free Lizzie.
So they figured because also why Liz had such a thing with Mr. Borden, why he was like, because Lizzie.
It was very similar, yeah. So he was like fully attracted to her.
Or because she, like, yeah.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah, so, and Liz just keeps antagonizing him. And then
I would too. Like, you dirty, nasty motherfucker. Pig-faced, eyeball missing, dick in the booty ass motherfucker.
So while she's antagonizing him, Nick and Zach are all starting to feel sick. And Nick's like, he had to get up. He's like,
I can't do it.
He's like, he's literally leaning against the railing on the stairs. He's like, I don't feel good.
Oh, God.
And then they eventually end the...
Okay, well, yeah. Yep, I knew about that part, about her dad. So, that's crazy. All right, guys. So, like I said, mine's going to be kind of long because it's going to be the cryptid that kind of leads into
let me get
murder.
Oh, my hell. Oh, my knee.
Oh, no. All right, so... Yeah, she's under the thing because there's somebody here, and she hides She thinks I'm going to protect her.
What's wrong, me?
She's scared. She does that like when the tree people are outside. She'll like bark, but then I'll fuss at her, so she'll come and lay under the desk. All right, so we're going to talk about Slender Man.
Oh, my friend, when that was popular, they had like a game on the phone. My friend played it, and when he popped up, she yeeted her phone across. Yeah. She threw her phone across the room.
There's a lot of stuff about Slender Man. I mean, I kind of knew a little bit about it, but I didn't really until like I got into this.
I never watched that movie.
I didn't either. There's several of them. So, Slender Man is a fictional supernatural character that originated as a creepypasta internet meme created by the website forum Something Awful Forum by user Eric Knudsen, also known as Victor Surge on the forum, in 2009. He is depicted as a thin, unnaturally tall humanoid with a featureless white face and head, wearing a black suit.
Okay, why would you create this shit?
It was a challenge. Like they wanted. Well, we'll get there. We'll explain why this was created. Okay. Stories of the Slender Man commonly featured his stalking, abducting, or traumatizing people, particularly children. The Slender Man has become a popular cultural icon, although he is not confined to a single narrative, but appears in many disparate works of fiction, typically composed online. So he doesn't have like a linear storyline. So he's just kind of like all over the place. Fiction relating to the Slender Man encompasses many media, including literature, art, and video games, and video series, movies, TV shows, such as Marble Hornets, wherein he is known as the Operator. The character has appeared in the video game Slender, The 8 Pages, and its successor Slender, The Arrival, as well as inspiring Enderman in Minecraft.
What?
Yeah. He also appeared in a 2015 film adaptation of Marble Hornets, where he is portrayed by Doug Jones, and in eponymous 2018 film where he was portrayed by Javier Bote.
I don't know what those two movies were.
I don't either. Beginning in 2014, a moral panic occurred over the Slender Man after readers of his fiction were connected to several violent acts, particularly the near-fatal stabbing of a 12-year-old girl in Waukesha, Washington. Because of Slender Man's fictional mythology has evolved without an official canon for reference, his appearance, motives, habits, and abilities are not fixed, but changed depending on the storyteller. So again, he doesn't have like a linear story.
Okay.
His appearance...
He's pretty much just something someone made up and
it just went crazy. Okay. Yeah. He is most commonly described as very tall and very thin, with unnaturally long tentacle-like arms, or appendages resembling tentacles that appear from his back, which can extend to intimidate or capture prey. In most stories, his face is white and featureless, but occasionally his face appears differently to anyone who sees it. He appears to be wearing a dark suit and tie. The Slender Man is often associated with the forest and or abandoned locations and has the ability to teleport.
Nope.
Proximity to Slender Man is often said to trigger a slender sickness, which is a rapid onset of paranoia, nightmares, and delusions accompanied by nosebleeds. So remember, this is just an amalgamation of stories that were created by people pretending on what his origin was.
Okay.
Early stories featured him targeting children or young adults. Some featured young adults driven insane or influenced to act on his behalf. So, instead of like him doing the crimes, he influenced young adults or children to do the crimes. Others included the idea that investigating the Slender Man is what draws his attention. The web series Marble Hornets...
Bitch, what'd you do while you were investigating this man? Did you bring something?
What? Oh.
Did you draw his attention?
He's not real, so no. The web series Marble Hornets established the idea of proxies, who were human who fall under the Slender Man's influence. So the ones that he were able to control, they were called proxies.
Okay.
Initially depicted as simply violently insane, they came to be portrayed as puppets of the Slender Man. Marble Hornets also introduced the idea that Slender Man could interfere with video and audio recordings, as well as the Slender Man symbol, which became a common trope of Slender fiction. graphic violence and body horror are uncommon in the Slender Man mythos, with many narratives choosing to leave the fate of his victims obscure. So they're basically saying, like, most of the stories don't depict him actually murdering somebody, except a couple of them. You know, so it's kind of like
Misha.
It's up to the reader to kind of think about what happened.
Okay.
Shira Chess notes that, quote, "It is important to note that few of the retellings identify exactly what kind of monster the Slender Man might be and what his specific intentions are. These points all remain mysteriously and usefully vague." So it's up to the person telling the story on how they want it to go. Oh, honey bunny. Slender Man has no specific confirmed history, but contributors to the mythos have placed early sightings of Slender Man-like beings in Germany in the 1600s and before. Historically, the entity often took on the appearance of a knight or noble figure. Germanic myths and fairy tales have been cited as containing Slender Man-like creatures as cautionary tales for children.
Wait, so this is old?
No. So basically, the history of Slender Man, they're creating it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're saying back in, like, the person that created it said, oh, back in the 1600s, but there's no anything before 2009, there's nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, this person, like, created this whole, like, backstory.
Okay.
Yeah. Photographs from the early 1900s are the first confirmed reports where images of the Slender Man can be found in old photographs. Reports from this indicate sightings in America, the UK, and Russia, usually connected to reports of child disappearances. In the mid-1900s, several run-ins occurred in the war zones in Germany, which theorized to be the Slender Man's native land. Soldiers were the primary targets here. In America and Canada, there were reports of missing skiers and children, mainly coming from forested and unoccupied areas. He is also held responsible for several strings of buildings burning with no apparent cause and multiple related deaths. The few survivors of Slender Man attacks, along with the counts left by the victims, show the following historic traits. Now, remember, this is all fictional. Okay. If the victim was a child, he would often approach them in a friendly fashion at first and attempt to gain their trust. The adults he stalked have one trait in common. They had all been through a terrible tragedy in their life. If the victim was an adult, Slender Man would stalk the victim for long periods of time. This caused an illness that became known as slender sickness. Symptoms included massive paranoia, nausea, nosebleeds, nightmares, and hallucinations. Eventually, the Slender Man would abduct the victim, usually into a nearby forest where they would be killed. In quote-unquote messy cases, Slender Man would remove evidence of its existence by burning the victim's home, place of work, or school, often caused the death of others in the line of destruction, generally those close to the initial victim.
Well, damn.
Yeah. He left no stone unturned. He covered his tracks.
He really did.
Originally, Slender Man killed its victims by impaling them on the branches of very tall trees and allowing them to just bleed to death. The victims' organs would be individually removed and placed in plastic bags, which were then returned to their original positions in the body. What? So he took the organs, put them in plastic bags, and then put them right back.
What was the...
I don't know.
Okay.
The victim's corpse did not show any signs of a struggle, so, like, they weren't, like, fighting back or anything, so...
I mean, if you just get impaled by a tree branch, you can't exactly...
You're right.
You can't exactly fight a tree branch.
I mean... However, as time has gone on, it would seem that Slender Man has abandoned this practice. In the late 1900s, the more and more common use of cameras and camcorders allowed technology to shed more light on the creature, and the Slender Man was recorded and photographed stalking potential victims many times. In the late 2000s to early 2010s, several individuals recorded ongoing stalking and attack scenarios with themselves and friends. New accounts of the Slender Man's powers, abilities, and attacks show some drastic differences from his original behaviors. He no longer has the original desire to impale targets on trees. He no longer has an overly aggressive attitude or the tendency to mainly target children. He now appears to target people who encountered him as children, often stalking them for years. It does so in such a way that the target is often unaware of his presence for months, years, and even decades. So Slender Man's playing.
Like somebody's watching me.
Yeah. So Slender Man's playing the long game.
Clearly.
Typically, the victim won't be aware of its attention until it's far too late. Because of the somewhat contagious nature of Slender Man's attacks, an initial victim may not be aware that they are causing others to be targeted, since they may not know that he's even stalking them. Because remember earlier, just being in close proximity to Slender Man can cause you to be attacked. The Slender Man stalking behavior is remarkably passive. Now, anyway. He torments an individual by repeatedly appearing and vanishing, usually without harming the victim in any physical way. He invades the mental safety of his prey by appearing inside their house, outside of their home, on roads as they travel, at their place of work when they're alone, or ensuring only the victim can see him, or while his target is sleeping.
Fuck no.
Yeah. It's creepy. Not real, but creepy. The sporadic and unexpected nature of these manifestations cause fear and unease, which eventually can grow into incredible paranoia. The period of stalking can last anywhere from several minutes to decades. Long game king.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Yeah. The longer Slender Man stalks a victim, the greater strain on their mental health, which may be one of his goals. Prolonged stalking can cause what has been named, again, slender sickness, which is both a mental and physical ailment and can cause paranoia, nightmares, coughing, and difficulty swallowing, convulsions, exhaustion, vomiting, hallucinations, etc. A physical symptom naturally affects an individual's mental health, but it's believed that Slender Man exerts a direct effect on the mind as well. However, the phenomenon of Slender Man's control over a victim has yet to be fully explained. As previously mentioned, the behavior of taking organs out or impaling targets appears to have been abandoned. If reports of Slender Man's new modus operandi are to be believed, it now vanishes with its targets, leaving no traces behind. So modus operandi is their MO, their motive. It's motive, basically. That's what that means. What little camera footage has been found is incredibly distorted, and it is nearly impossible to even theorize as to what they depict. The victims are almost never found, dead or alive, and it has been speculated that perhaps he does not kill the victims immediately. Like, he just keeps them.
He said, "You're mine now."
And tortures them, possibly.
You're mine now.
Yeah.
Stay with me.
One of the most powerful new traits Slender Man exhibits is some form of memory inhibition. Like slender sickness, this effect can be caused simply by proximity, although it seems to vary as to exactly how powerful. In some cases, individuals will forget the past few minutes, but extended contact has led people awakening in locations they are unfamiliar with no memory of how they got there.
So being drunk.
Kind of, like just blacking out. Yeah. Or like when you take Ambien. I hallucinated when I took Ambien. I woke up in the closet.
What?
Yeah. Or like Selena's, what is her name? Selena Spooky Boo.
Oh, yeah.
And she like sleepwalks.
Yeah.
I love watching her. She's so funny.
You see the baby?
I have seen the baby. What a beautiful baby. I know. So happy for Selena. In some cases, it is believed Slender Man itself will deposit a victim in an unknown location and leave them to awaken after an attack, possibly to continue stalking them further. So he's like, it'll be funny. I'm going to leave you right here, and you're not going to know how you got there.
And I'm just going to stalk you later.
Yeah. Kind of like a parent putting a sleeping child to bed. They fell asleep on the couch. They wake up in their bed the next morning like, what? Yeah, that's great. That's funny. I like that. It's scary, but it's also hilarious.
Yeah.
Victims who were stalked by the Slender Man for extended periods show excessive damage to their social life, physical health, and even their careers. Typically, individuals will show massive mood swings and constant irritation, lose track of large periods of time, and have difficulty maintaining communication with friends or holding down steady work. Carrie Ridgway, is that you? Memory losses can be as long as several weeks or months, and often an individual awakens and attempts to return to their life only to find it ruined. These patterns are possible indicators that the Slender Man has at least some indication that he has knowledge and experience with how the human mind works and reacts to various stimuli. It is possible that he exploits this deliberately, abandoning its more blunt tactics of impaling and gutting its victims. And it's possible that he has moved to more subtle forms of attack because he has kind of figured out how the human psyche works.
Okay.
The Slender Man has always had some kind of odd connection to children. In some of the original mythos, its relationship with children is one of its most prominent traits, though no one is exactly sure why. Many theories exist as to why he targets children, including he wins over the confidence of children, but adults are repulsed by fear. This theory is one of the few that paints Slender Man as a benign element, suggesting that he's actually seeking friendship of some kind and can only find that in children who, unlike adults, he can get to trust him.
Yeah, because kids are just like, oh, what are you? Let's
yeah, and
friends.
Adults are like, ugh.
Yeah.
No, thank you. That'd be me. I'd be like, oh, God, no. No, thank you.
No.
He chooses children because he can take longer to nurture their fear, stalking them for years before attacking them as adults. He brainwashes children, using them to further his own unspecified ends as proxies, and children are simply easier for him to hurt. So, Slender Man again was created on June 10th of 2009 on a thread in the Something Awful internet forum. The thread was a Photoshop contest in which users were challenged to, quote-unquote, create paranormal images.
Okay.
So this is why he was created.
Okay.
Forum poster Eric Knudsen, under the pseudonym Victor Surge, contributed 2 black and white images of groups of children to which he added a tall, thin, spectral figure wearing a black suit. Although previous entries had consisted solely of photographs, Surge supplemented his submission with snatches of text, supposedly from witnesses, describing the abductions of the groups of children and giving the character the name the Slender Man. The quote under a photograph read, quote, "We didn't want to go. We didn't want to kill them, but its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us at the same time. 1983, photographer unknown, presumed dead." The quote under the other photograph read, "One of 2 recovered photographs from Sterling City Library blaze, notably for being taken the day the 14 children vanished and for what is referred to as, quote-unquote, the Slender Man. Deformities cited as film defects by officials. Fire at library 1 week later. Actual photograph confiscated as evidence. 1986, photographer Mary Thomas, missing since June 13th of 1986. Again, these are fake. These were photoshopped. And he just created stories behind each picture.
So like the fucking Dybbuk box.
Dybbuk boxes are real, though.
I know, but but
yes, exactly like that. He created this whole thing. None of it is true. None of it's true. So
he started the whole fucking
Yes, he started the whole thing. So basically he took excerpts from, like, we'll go through it, but he's got, like, pulled from many different sources to create this one being, and then everything that he is posting on the forum, completely fictional, made up. He came up with it. He photoshopped it. He made the stories himself. From that, other people started adding into the Slender Man theory, the Slender Man character, with their own stories. So this isn't like, you know, in the 1800s, they took a picture.
Yeah.
This is all fictional. These additions effectively transformed the photographs into a work of fiction. Subsequent posters expanded upon the character, adding their own visual or contextual contributions. So like I said, people saw it and then they're like, oh yeah, I had like an interaction, or I heard about this one story. And, you know, a lot of people, like, even now will say, it's not fake, it wasn't made up. I remember dreaming about them before 2009. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that people had dreams about Slender Man prior to his creation in 2009. And I'm not going to say bullshit, because a tall-skinned man without a face.
That's like a normal, like,
yeah,
creepy,
like a tall, thin man without a face is just like a creepy thing. So they may very well have had those dreams, but, you know, he may have had the dream, and that's kind of...
Yeah.
Knudsen was inspired to create the Slender Man primarily by Zach Parsons' The Insidious Beast, Stephen King's The Mist, reports of Shadow People, Mothman, and the Mad Gasser of Mattoon. So he took 5 different things and just kind of put it in a ball, squeezed it together, and what popped out was Slender Man.
Okay.
Other inspirations of the character were the Tall Man from the 1979 film Phantasm, H.P. Lovecraft, the surrealist work of William S. Burroughs, and the survival horror video games of Silent Hill and Resident Evil. So again, like 10 different sources, and he just Slender Man was born. Knudson's intention was to, quote unquote, formulate something whose motivations can barely be comprehended and which caused unease and terror in general population. And that is exactly what it did. What he set out to do is what happened. Other pre-existing fictional or legendary creatures which are similar to the Slender Man include the Gentleman, black-suited, pale, bald demons from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer Hush, Men in Black, many accounts of which granted them an uncanny appearance with unnatural walk and oriental features. And the Question, a DC comic superhero with a blank face, whose secret identity is Victor Sage, a name similar to Knudson's alias Victor Surge. So, now, the Slender Man soon went viral, spawning numerous works of fan art, cosplay, and outline fiction known as creepypasta, which are horror stories told in short snatches of easily copyable text that spread from site to site. Divorced from its original creator, the Slender Man became the subject of a myriad of stories by multiple authors within an overarching mythos. So again, they just took this theory, this idea, and ran with it. And nothing was wrong, nothing was incorrect, because he had no original origination. So it just kind of became this thing.
Okay.
Many aspects of the Slender Man mythos first appeared again on the original Something Awful thread. One of the earliest editions was added by a forum user named Throw Up, spelled Thoreau.
Okay.
Who created a folklore story set in the 16th century Germany involving a character called Der Grabman, which was, the writer implied, an early reference to the Slender Man. The first series involving the Slender Man evolved from a post on Something Awful thread by user C.E. Gars. It tells of a fictional film school friend named Alex Crowley who had stumbled upon something troubling while shooting his feature-length project, Marble Hornet. The video series, published in found footage style on YouTube, forms an alternate reality game describing the filmer's fictional experiences with the Slender Man. The ARG also incorporates a Twitter feed and an alternate YouTube channel created by a user to the Ark. As of 2013, Marble Hornets had over 250,000 subscribers around the world and has received 55 million views.
Good golly.
Yeah. Other Slender Man-themed YouTube serials followed, including Everyman Hybrid and Tribe 12. In 2012, the Slender Man was adapted into a video game titled Slender: The 8 Pages, and the official website crashed after too many people tried to download the game. The sequel to Slender: The 8 Pages, which was Slender: The Arrival, was released the following year in 2013. Several popular variants of the game followed, including Slender Man's Shadow, Slender Source, later renamed to Faceless for copyright concerns, and Slender Rising for iOS, which is Apple. Several independent films about the Slender Man have been released or are in development, including Entity and The Slender Man 2013, released free online after a $10,000 Kickstarter campaign. In 2013, Variety announced that Marble Hornets would become a feature film. This would later become Always Watching, a Marble Hornet story in 2015. So now we're going to talk about the Waukesha stabbing in 2014. Morgan Geyser and Peyton Isabella Lutner, also known as Bella, a nickname used at the time of the crime, were childhood best friends who would later befriend fellow Waukesha resident Anissa Weyer, who would become particularly close to Geyser due to them living in the same apartment building and having a shared interest in creepypasta, which is what we mentioned from before.
Yeah.
Including the popular fictional character Slender Man, while Lutner found it horrifying. She was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, not for me.
As their interest in Slender Man grew, Geyser and Weir both believed he was real and would hurt them and their families if they did not offer him a sacrifice.
What?
And subsequently planned to kill Lutner to appease Slender Man and prove that he was real.
The fuck?
This is rough. Let me stop to say these girls were 12.
The fuck?
These girls were 12 years old when this happened. So, Geyser and Weir had previously planned to kill Lutner by either murdering her while she was sleeping or by killing her in a bathroom, but didn't go with either plan, resulting in them coming up with the plan that they eventually went with, which was hide and seek. Yeah. Geyser, Weir, and Lutner had been at a sleepover the night before the stabbing. So on May 31st of 2014, during a game of hide and seek in the heavily wooded Davids Park near Waukesha, Wisconsin, Geyser and Weir pinned down Leutner and stabbed her 19 times in the arms, legs, and torso with a 5-inch long blade. 2 of those wounds were to major organs.
The fuck?
Yeah, 12. These girls were 12. One stab wound missed a major artery by less than a millimeter, and another went through her diaphragm, cutting into her liver and her stomach. Again, all 3 girls were 12 years old at this time. All 3 of them.
Bitches.
After the attack, Weir and Geyser told Leutner to lie down while they found help, which obviously they did not do.
You bitches.
Afterwards, Leutner dragged herself to a nearby road where she was found by a cyclist who called emergency services. And later, Peyton Leutner, the victim, says they just wanted to go on a walk, and I didn't think much over it. It's just a walk. It's in Waukesha. What bad stuff happens in Waukesha, Wisconsin? Anissa told me to lie on the ground and cover myself in sticks and leaves to hide, in a sense, but it was really just a trick to get me down there. I got up, grabbed a couple of trees for support, I think, and then I just walked until I hit a patch of grass where I could lay down. I couldn't focus much because my body was working so hard to keep itself alive.
Please tell me they did something to these 2 bitches.
Yes, we'll get there. Surgeons operated for 6 hours to repair critical trauma to arteries and tissue in her torso and abdomen. Dr. John Kellerman, who operated on Leutner that day, said that if the knife had gone the width of a human hair further, she wouldn't have lived. Fractions of a millimeter. You know how thin a human hair is. If it had gone that much further in, she would be dead. Leutner left the hospital 7 days after the attack and returned to school in September of that year. Leutner developed lingering trauma from the attack, obviously, rightly so, later revealing in 2019 that she sleeps with broken scissors in fear of being attacked again.
Poor girl.
I know. Can you just...
Poor baby.
5 hours after the attack, Weir and Geyser were apprehended by police near Stiefheffel's furniture store on I-94, approximately 4.9 miles from the attack location. They were in possession of the knife used in the stabbing, which was found by police in a bag that they had carried.
What the fuck?
They said they were traveling to meet Slender Man at his home called Slender Mansion in the Chiquamigo-Nicollet National Forest, 200 miles from where they were apprehended.
They walked 200 fucking miles?
No, they were headed there. They were apprehended 5 miles, but they were trying to go 200 miles away. That's where the Chiquamigo-Nicollet National Forest was, 200 miles from where they were taken. Okay. Yeah. During the police investigation and pre-trial psychiatric evaluation, Geyser disclosed lifelong visual and auditory hallucinations beginning in early childhood.
She was already going crazy.
She was, yeah. These hallucinations typically included figures she interpreted as ghosts, colors melting down walls, and imaginary friends named Maggie and Sev.
What?
One recurring hallucination was a man Geyser named It, whose body she described as the color of smoke and ink. She would perceive It as standing behind her or in mirrors or shifting around corners. So it seems like she never saw it like head on. It was always like in her peripheral.
And no one got this child help.
After Geyser's arrest, her mother, Angie Geyser, described her as becoming floridly psychotic. Correctional officers reported Geyser frequently talked to herself, pretended to be a cat, and kept ants as pets.
What?
I don't know. I don't know. She's crazy. Like, legitimately crazy. Like, this is... And she's crazy.
And
she was 12. Early psychosis, that's around the time. So it may have been, like, her parents were starting to notice something, but it wasn't super prevalent yet to where they were really concerned and, you know,
well,
and took
now
her
you should
in.
be concerned.
Now they're very concerned. She reported seeing unicorns and believed she was having ongoing conversations with Slender Man and other fictional characters such as Severus Snape.
Oh my God.
Snape would never.
Severus Snape would never.
Snape would never.
Oh my God.
Never. Experts testified in court that she also said she conversed with Lord Voldemort.
Oh my God.
That might be true. I don't know. Voldemort's kind of creepy.
Oh my Lord.
And just one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just one. Doesn't say which one, but just one. During their interrogations, Geyser was described as displaying no empathy, and Ware was described as displaying guilt for stabbing Leutner, although both stated the attack was necessary.
This bitch was her best friend. What the fuck?
Yeah, they were like a little three musketeers, and two of them were crazy.
Clearly.
Also, during the interrogations, investigators were told that Geyser and Ware's obsession with Slender Man began as early as December 2013. While Geyser was imprisoned, she claimed that her dad did multiple acts of sexual assault against her for years prior to the attack. It never goes on to say
if it was
confirmed or not. And it may not be, just based on her mental health and her hallucinating other things already. It never specifies. Weir also claimed that she was neglected by her family and that her mother committed incest. So, I don't know. Nothing was confirmed on that. Geyser was moved from prison to Winnebago Mental Health Institute, a mental health facility, in the fall of 2014 to determine if she was competent to stand trial. On October 22nd of 2014, Geyser was diagnosed with early onset childhood schizophrenia.
Oh, Lord.
Geyser's treatment for schizophrenia was erratic and inadequate for 19 months, which is believed to exacerbated her cyclic aggression into psychosis and reduced her ability to recognize delusions against reality. In December of 2015, Geyser began a consistent long-term regimen of antipsychotic medication, which enabled her to understand what she had done and display the appropriate feelings related to her crime, such as guilt and remorse.
Okay.
On March 23rd of 2016, Geyser was returned to the county jail to await trial. Although she was appropriately medicated, Geyser's mental health deteriorated. Her deterioration was linked to stressors on her already fragile mental health that are typical of forced confinement and incarceration. Geyser was charged with attempted first-degree homicide, a Class A felony, and Weir was charged with attempted second-degree homicide, a Class B felony, due to the nature of the offenses. Both Weir and Geyser were waived out of juvenile court to be tried as adults.
Okay.
In 2017, Weir pleaded guilty to being a party to attempted second-degree homicide. A jury then found her, quote-unquote, not guilty by mental disease or defect. Geyser accepted a plea offer that stipulated that she would not undergo a trial if she pled guilty and agreed to further evaluation by psychiatrists to determine the appropriate duration of commitment to a forensic psychiatric hospital. She later pled guilty as arranged by her plea offer, was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect due to the final diagnosis of schizophrenia by court-appointed psychiatrists. Weir received a sentence of 25 years to life, an indeterminate sentence requiring at least 3 years of confinement and involuntary treatment in a state forensic psychiatry institute, followed by communal supervision until age 37. Geyser was given the maximum sentence, 40 years to life, an indeterminate sentence requiring at least 3 years confinement, in addition to involuntary treatment in a state forensic psychiatry institute until complete resolution of symptoms or until age 53, whichever happens first.
Okay.
So basically, once they get out of the mental hospital, they're under constant supervision until 37 and 53, respectively.
Oh, okay.
With like ankle monitors and shit.
Okay.
At a hearing on March 10th of 2021, Weir, who was 19 years old, this was only 4 years ago. Okay, keep that in mind. Submitted a letter to the court stating that she was quote unquote sorry and deeply regretful for the agony, pain, and fear I have caused, not just to Leutner, but quote unquote to my community as well. Weir stated, quote, I hate my actions from May 31st, 2014. But through countless hours of therapy, I no longer hate myself for them. On July 1st of 2021, Waukesha County Judge Michael Boren ordered Weir released from the Winnebago Mental Health Institute and gave state officials 60 days to draft a conditional release plan and required that Weir be assigned Wisconsin Department of Health Services case managers to supervise her progress until she is 37 years old, which is the length of her commitment. In September 2021, after Weir's release, it was reported that Leutner no longer lived in Waukesha County and was attending an undisclosed college as a sophomore student. So she went to college. In 2020, an appeals court rejected Geyser's petition to be retried as a quote-unquote juvenile. Her attorney, Matthew Penix, argued that she should have been charged with second-degree attempted intentional homicide rather than first degree, and argued that Geyser gave statements to investigators before being read her Miranda rights. She petitioned the Supreme Court of Wisconsin to review the ruling. In early 2021, the Wisconsin Supreme Court declined to hear the appeal. So they said, no thank you.
Yeah, no thank you.
On September 13th of 2021, Weir was released with multiple stipulations, including 24-hour GPS monitoring that required her to request permission before leaving Waukesha County. Leutner's family was quote-unquote reasonably comfortable with the rules Weir must follow after her release, which include no contact with Leutner until 2039 and GPS ankle monitoring, but wishes she had served a longer sentence.
I mean, yeah, they attacked her daughter, of course.
Yeah. On September 11, 2023, the GPS stipulation was removed. Weir's internet use is restricted and monitored as part of her supervised release, and she is not allowed to use any form of social media. Weir is required to take court-mandated psychiatric medication and is escorted to regular counseling sessions by a caseworker. And she is also required to live with her father while under the supervision of the court. So she's got to live with him until she's 37. Yeah. So she's only 22.
Yeah.
So she's got a while. 15 years.
Yeah.
In January 2024, Geyser petitioned the court for release 2 years after withdrawing a petition in 2022, 2 months after filing. A judge denied this request for release at a hearing in April of 2024. In January of 2025, a court approved Geyser's appeal for release after experts noted considerable progress in battling mental illness. Geyser was reported in this month to have started identifying as a transgender male, beginning a transition that includes male pronouns. Court officials continue to refer to Geyser using female pronouns throughout the proceedings and in documentation, and most major media outlets have done the same in their recent reporting, which is bullshit. When someone tells you their pronouns, you just fucking use them. Just use them. Just fucking use them. In February 2025, Geyser's hearing for a possible plan to be released had been canceled because of new allegations that Geyser had a quote-unquote violent communication with a man outside the facility and read a book in the facility with quote-unquote themes of sexual sadism and murder.
What the fuck?
Along with books of black market human organ selling.
What?
How did they get that book?
How
did they get that book? How did they get that book? Everything that comes into the prison has to be supervised and and authorized and checked off on. How the fuck did they get that book?
There's no way.
Although
unless it was smuggled
in your butthole.
Yeah.
Geyser's lawyer denied that Geyser did anything inappropriate. The 3 doctors who evaluated Geyser later testified that Geyser is well enough to be released and said the new allegations do not change their opinion. A new hearing in which a proposal for plans on Geyser's release had been laid out as being set for March 24th of 2025. The date was pushed back to April 28th of 2025. When released, Geyser was to live in a group home and be under supervision until 2058, remain under communal supervision, and undergo periodic reevaluations intended to identify the need for reinstitution and or further treatment. On July 17th of 2025, so 3 months ago, a judge signed off on a conditional plan to release Geyser, now 22, from the psychiatric hospital where she has spent the last 7 years. Details of the plan and date of her release were not shared in court. Efforts to find a group home for her were met with difficulties. The first attempt to place her was made in a group home in Milwaukee. Her entry was denied due to it being located in close proximity to her victim, Peyton Leutner. Second attempt to house her was made in Manitowoc group home, where she was again denied due to the building being too isolated and the residents of the home being unhappy about her placement.
And they said, we don't want to.
Yeah, they said, no, thank you. Geyser's attorney, Tony Cotton, said that she remained calm and emotionally stable despite the events and retained a positive attitude.
Well, that's good.
So after the attack, the creepypasta wiki, which houses the bulk of Slender Man's lore, was blocked throughout the Waukesha school district.
They said, fuck this.
Yeah. On June 5th of 2014, Slender Man creator Eric Knudsen released a statement of condolence. He said, quote, "I am deeply saddened by the tragedy in Wisconsin, and my heart goes out to the families of those affected by this terrible act."
Look what you done started, dude. You started all this
You
shit.
can't blame him.
I know,
You
but
can't
like,
blame
damn.
him. He did not know that this was going to blow up that way. Sloshed Train, a former admin of the creepypasta wiki, stated that the stabbing was an isolated incident that did not accurately represent the creepypasta community. He also argued that the creepypasta wiki is a literary website and that its community of creators and admin do not condone murder or satanic rituals. A statement was also released on the creepypasta website which stated the attack wasn't the fault of Slender Man or horror writing in general, as quote-unquote placing blame solely on an interest in reading or writing about horror, paranormal, myths, urban legends, etc. for a tragedy would be off the mark. Members of the creepypasta community had a 24-hour live stream on YouTube between June 13th and June 14th of 2014 to raise money for Leutner.
Aww.
At that time, her name had not been released. They had just released the information about what had happened. Joe Jazwoski, an admin on the website, said the purpose of the stream was to show that the members of the community care for the victim and do not condone real-world violence.
Well, that was nice they did that.
On October 24th, 2019, then 17 years old, Leutner spoke publicly about her experience for the first time to ABC's 2020. She discussed her scars, saying, quote, "I don't think much of them. They will probably go away and fade eventually." She described how she met Geyser in 4th grade and became her friend because Geyser was alone a lot and Leutner wanted her to feel less alone.
Oh, that's so terrible.
She reported how Weir, who Geyser introduced to Leutner, had seemed jealous of the friendship between her and Geyser. When asked what she would say if she ever saw Geyser again, Leutner replied she would quote-unquote thank her because the attack inspired Leutner to pursue a career in medicine.
Oh, that's good.
Leutner revealed she was doing well, and her hope was to, quote-unquote, put everything behind me and live my life normally.
That's like my Halloween dude, because the chick freaking manipulated the other chick into killing because she was fucking jealous.
Exactly.
This bitch.
Exactly. After hearing the story, an unidentified woman from Cincinnati, Ohio, told a WLWT TV reporter in June of 2013 that her 13-year-old daughter had attacked her with a knife and had written macabre fiction, some involving the Slender Man, who the mother said motivated the attack.
Oh, damn.
On September 4th of 2014, a 14-year-old girl in Port Richey, Florida, allegedly set her family's house on fire while her mother and 9-year-old brother were inside. Police reported that the teenager had been reading online stories about Slender Man, as well as Atsushi Okuno's manga Soul Eater.
Oh, Lord.
Eddie Daniels of Pasco County Sheriff's Office said the girl, quote-unquote, had visited the website that contains a lot of the Slender Man information and stories, and it would be safe to say there is a connection to that. During an early 2015 epidemic of suicide attempts by young people aged 12 to 24 on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, Slender Man was cited as an influence. The Oglala Sioux tribe president noted that many Native Americans traditionally believed in a suicide spirit, similar to the Slender Man. Other Sioux described the quote-unquote big man as a messenger or sign warning that society is developing in a dangerous direction.
Yes.
So, sorry that one was a little bit longer, but, I couldn't talk about Slender Man without talking about the attack.
The fact that was your fucking best friend.
Yeah. The best friend who was only your friend because she felt bad for you. Like, that was your initial meeting. She felt bad because you always looked so lonely and so sad, and she wanted you to be happy.
And then this new bitch comes along.
And fucks it up.
Fucking jealous. Fucking shit.
Yeah. Crazy. But, also at the same time,
don't believe everything you fucking read online either.
That, but also mental illness is fucking rampant. Mm-hmm. And, they were only 12, so, but there's that. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Thank you guys so much for listening, as always. Tell your friends. Tell all of your friends.
Tell everybody.
Tell everybody. You guys can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/haunted and homicidal, Patreon, you got tiers. There's free stuff. We have
free shit.
like extra recordings of things that we did, books that we're reading. There's a lot of stuff going on. And again, I know the economy fucking sucks right now, so I get it. But when you can, you can also send us suggestions, your own little stories, whatever. hauntedandhomicidal@gmail.com. I forgot to tell you the Patreon. It's patreon.com/hauntedandhomicidal. Again, thank you guys so much for your support, your continued listens and downloads. We see those numbers increasing all the time, and we appreciate it. Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.